Hi everyone, welcome back to Kitchen Colony. And this week I'll be making vegetarian meatballs and spaghetti. Now, in this video, I'll be using or making my own sauce. And the reason for that, I just like to add different spices to my sauce. But if you prefer, you can use a ready-made sauce. Vegetarian food doesn't have to be bland. And trust me, my son is my greatest critic. And after doing this, he never had an idea that it wasn't meat. It was so delicious that he even asked for seconds. Remember, this is just a guide. Therefore, you can add or delete, adapt to your own taste. Okay, let's get on and make this. Today we're going to make vegan meatball and spaghetti. Now we're going to create our own sauce. But if you want, you could buy the sauce in the store, but it tastes so much better when you make your own. So let's start here. You're going to need a small potato, depending on how many people you're cooking for. For my family, I'll use a small potato, which you need to boil and then crush. I'm using pieces of sweet pepper. I'll be using some mushroom. Now you can use any mushroom you like. I'll be using the chestnut today. Then we need our fresh seasoning. I have some basil, coriander, and parsley. I'll be using some garlic cloves and onion. Now you need some plum tomatoes, and this is peeled plum tomatoes. Then you'll need some breadcrumbs. Season the breadcrumbs, or if you have stuffing. So this is stuffing, and this is a 1/4 cup of stuffing, and this is about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, the same amount, 1/4 cup of oats, and I have some soaked bulgur. Now you could use a brown bulgur if you have it. So I've soaked a 1/4 cup of brown bulgur. Then we have our seasonings here. I have mild and hot jerk seasoning and some crushed garlic. Then I have my powdered seasoning, black pepper, onion salt, and then all-purpose seasoning, but you can use whatever you have. Now I have a stock pot, and this is a vegetable stock pot. Then I have some liquid seasoning, some finely diced sweet pepper, bell pepper, 2 teaspoons of soy sauce. Now it's time to get our potato to boil our potato actually. Now I'm going to start our sauce. So I'm adding my parsley, my coriander, my basil, onion, and all the garlic. I'm going to add a little water to blend this first, because I'm going to take some for the meatballs. I'm taking 2 tablespoons, and you notice I'm taking from the top. I didn't want a lot of liquid. I wanted more the chopped pieces. Now it's time to add the bell peppers and the chopped tomatoes. Instead of the tinned tomatoes, you may use fresh tomatoes. Blend everything together. Now it's time to cook our sauce, and in my pan I'll be adding about a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Allow the sauce to cook for about 45 minutes on medium. And if you want that red, rich tomato color, then add some tomato paste. While that is cooking, we're going to start our meatball. We're going to start making our meatballs. Now our potato is already cooked, so we're going to crush it. Now roughly chop your mushrooms, and you can decide what sizes you like. Five minutes after putting the stock cube, allow it to boil, and then I'm going to add some thyme, and I'm going to add about half a teaspoon, and allow it to cook. See, the oil is actually coming to the top now, so it's almost done. Allow it, turn the stove down, allow it to stir constantly, but turn the stove down and allow it to cook some more while we get on with the meatballs. To our blended herbs, we're going to add our soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of liquid seasoning. We're using all the crushed garlic and half the amount of the jerk that we have there. Blend those together. Then we're going to add all our dry ingredients, and each time we're going to mix them well together. So we're going to add their stuffing or season the breadcrumbs. Then we're going to add our bulgur and then our oats. Remember, mix them well so that they're saturated with the seasoning. We use the bulgur and the oats for texture. You want something to bite in, and it's best if you get the old-fashioned oats, the rolled oats, the one that takes a little too long time to cook, not the porridge one. Next, we mix in our mushroom, and we're going to mix it well. Add the crushed potato, and then get ready to use your hand to blend this well. Then we add our diced bell peppers, and then we're going to add all the other powder seasoning. Now we're using half the amount, you know. We're going to leave some for the sauce. After you've blended well, now you're going to sprinkle your cornstarch. Now you may use flour if you want, but I believe flour makes it a bit too doughy. You don't want a doughy or dumpling type meatball, so cornstarch is a bit milder for me. Now taste your mixture to see whether or not it is well seasoned or seasoned to your liking, and you know, add more or less, or add more starch to make it the texture you like. I've added the rest of seasoning to the sauce, and you taste as you go along. And if you don't mind the tangy taste, then you just leave it as is. But if you don't want the tangy taste, add a teaspoon of sugar. I'm allowing the meatball mixture to marinate while I get on to boil my spaghetti. To the water, I'll be adding some salt and a little oil to prevent the spaghetti from sticking together. While this is boiling, I begin to fry my meatballs. Now you may bake it if you prefer, but today I'm frying it off, and I'll be using olive oil to do so. Now I would advise that you test one of the meatballs first and taste it. Then you'll know whether or not you want to add more flour or cornstarch or even seasoning. So do a test first. Now adjust your stove between medium and high, and then you're going to fry until they're brown on both sides. We don't want them to burn, but we want to take our time to fry. While those are frying, we're going to drain our pasta and run it under cold water. You don't want it to continue cooking, because if you let it stay steaming, it will become very soft, and you don't want that. You want nice chewy pasta. I'm using my hand to distribute the water all over the pasta. Now my sauce is all done, and I'm going to remove some of the sauce from the pot because we don't need all of this. For 3 people, we don't need all of this. My meatballs are all done, and I'm now going to put them in the sauce for just a minute. I don't want it to boil. I don't want it to cook. I just want it to be coated with the sauce. After I've coated them, I'm going to take them out and put them back in the skillet. Now let's cut into one of these yummy meatballs. Mmm, delicious. Now to the sauce that is remaining, you add our pasta and we're going to stir. You may need to add a little bit more of the sauce, and then your meal is done. Here we have it, guys, delicious vegetable meatballs and spaghetti. Now guys, I'd love you to try it and let me know what you think. If you've enjoyed this video, then give me a thumbs up and remember to share it. And for those of you who have not yet subscribed, please remember to subscribe, and remember also to click on the notification bell so that you'll be alerted every time I make a video. Thank you for watching Kitchen Colony. I appreciate all your comments, and thank you again for being supportive. Bye.